Hi, my darlings. I'm Sophie Darling, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're reacting to episode 10 of series 2 of Vinland Saga. And last episode got me so goddamn bad. I cried so much because it was just seeing the two father figures in his life, his wrestling with his own guilt, him coming to this realization that the life he has led isn't the life that he wants to continue living, that he wants to be reborn, he wants to be a better man, he wants to be someone his dad would be proud of. And he forsakes violence. He is changing. And I'm so excited to see how he undergoes that. If he manages to keep to his word or if he'll find himself conflicted at times. I feel like we may see moral confliction. I think depending on how the rest of the series goes on, he may be thrust into a situation where he's like, I don't know what the best course of action is. Do I become the warrior I was in the past, or do I continue down this path of self discovery and forsake violence still? But we see that his father did utilize violence, but not in the same way. It was self defense. But I think Thorfinn may enter into sort of a moral dilemma while he's going on this path because it's easy at the minute because nothing has really presented itself to him as a conflict. But if we do get a conflict, it may be that he has some wrestle with this like philosophy that he has. Like, do I cave? That he feels torn between the person he used to be and the person he now is, and that there's sort of that dilemma. I don't know, maybe, but it just the visuals and the music and seeing Askeladd again and the fact that Askeladd was the one that had like a full-on conversation with him, and it's because Askeladd is the person that he remembers the most because he was with Askeladd longer than he was with his father. His father has very short sentences, and that's emphasizing the fact that that's all he really remembers his father saying to him is those phrases. He doesn't really remember anything more than that, and that's because he was 6 when his father died, whereas he was with Askeladd for 11 years. So of course they can have this full conversation, but it's the fact that Askeladd is the one motivating him. He doesn't want him to be dragged into the depths where he and so many others are. Yes, he is on the pillar, he is above them all, but he's still there nonetheless because that's the path he decided to choose. He became a warrior, he shed blood, and this is the result. He never became this true warrior, this enlightened individual that Thor's was. That's why we see Thor's at the top, not being dragged down, even though he has bodies pulling on him. And it's because he accepted what he had done and he moved on from it and he atoned for his past, whereas Askeladd never atoned for his past. He didn't feel shame or guilt for his past, but he doesn't want Thorfinn to be burdened by what he's done. If Thorfinn has the opportunity to be a better man than he was, then he wants that for him. That's why he's motivating and encouraging him, and it just struck me in my heart, and I was a wreck. I was an absolute wreck. But without further ado, we're going to jump into episode 10. Oh, is this the forest? Oh, damn. Okay. Have we had a time jump? We must have done if they've cleared this much. And also, it was coming into winter, or it was winter, and it's now not winter. Damn, they're built. He looks so much happier.
よし行くぞせーの
Oh, it warms my heart to see Thorfinn come into his own. And the little friendship he's built with Einar. Was that the last tree?
やったー
Ah!
最後の一本終わっただ
Oh my god, look at the little fields! How long has this been? It must have been like a couple of years. Oh, my boy! I'm gonna cry.
やればできるもんだな
The retainers must have left them alone after what happened last time.
ああ、3年以上かかっ
Oh, that's a big time jump.
この土地が全部俺たちのものだったらな
3 years. Just over 3 years. Still hasn't told him about Leif though, has he? It's been how many years now? Oh, what if when he does tell him Leif's dead?
こ
That'd be
の
really
開墾地の
sad.
次の収穫分で俺たちの自由が買い戻せるってさ。
They're gonna have discussions on what they're
いく
gonna
ら
do
か
with their
釣りも来
freedom,
るらしい。
on what they're going to do
そう
and
か
where they are going to go. Maybe Thorfinn will finally go home.
エイナルはどうするんだ自由になったら
うん
Because he doesn't have a family to go back to.
国に帰っても家族も
Yeah.
もういねえし。
I think you're kind of stuck with Einar at this point, Thorfinn. He's basically your brother.
アルネイズさんも自由になれるんだったらな。
Yeah, she's kind of stuck
そした
here.
らもっと晴れ晴れした気持ちになれるんだけど。お前はトルフィン、やっぱりアイスランドに帰るのか。
うんそうだな
He go home? Finally? Oh my god, please. Your poor mum. She's not even gonna recognize you.
いざ自由が目前に迫ってくるとこのざまだ。
Because it seems so unobtainable, but now it is. It's kind of like, oh, what do we do? It's like when you dream about something for so long and it finally becomes a reality, it's almost jarring.
世の中から戦争と奴隷をなくすことはできないのか
I wish. It's a grand ambition. Is that his life's purpose? Is that what he wants to pursue? Trying to change others and making the world a better place?
そうだな。夢のようだな。
It would, but unfortunately, humans are complicated.
おお、ついに最後の一本を
He's got a
やっつけた
little
な。
mustache now.
よく
His
やった
son.
ぞ、二人とも。旦那様、
Hopefully, he's a little bit
どうだ？
more mature
こ
now.
の土地は種まきまでに整地できそうか？はい、急げば多分。種まきが済み次第、お前たち二人は自由の身だ。
Whoa!
よく頑張ったな、トルフィン。
So they don't even have to wait for the harvest. This is far sooner than they ever anticipated as well. They're like, wait, we're not ready for
あ
this.
まり嬉しそうじゃないな。
They need time to think about what's going on.
おっしゃー
You just sprung it on them.
ついにやったな。
やった
いやすまん。喜ぶのはまだ早い。手続きはわしが帰ってくるまで待ってもらうぞ。
What if he doesn't return though?
お出かけですか。まあ、お前たちでもよい。大旦那に会ったら伝えてくれ。
What if he doesn't come back?
わしはハラルド王陛下のお見舞いにイエリングの王宮へ行ってくるとな。
Canute's brother.
だがまあ、種まきまでには戻るだろう。
What if he's not?
成長を済ませておき
Then
な
they're
さい。
kind of still bound here because it's part of the clause.
お前たち、自由身分になったら、このまま
Oh,
わ
well,
しの
that
ところで
complicates
奉
things
公する気は
now.
ないか？お前たちのような働き者なら歓迎だ。
Because he was going to go back to Iceland. Maybe he brings his family here. Because the land is warmer, it's more fertile. Maybe he decides to bring his mother and sister to here. Perhaps. But if he doesn't come back, does that mean Arnheid would be free? What benefit is there for the worker from that in which he labors? I have seen the tasks which God has given the sons of mankind with which to occupy themselves. He's made everything appropriate in its time. He has also set eternity in their heart without the possibility that mankind? That's not a word, Sophie. He's also set eternity in their heart without the possibility that mankind will find out the work which God has done from the beginning, even to the end. This is quite daunting music. Almost feels like war is on the horizon, maybe. Is this Canute? It's Canute! Canute's gone to see his brother. He's gone to see Harold. Damn, he fine. Oh, he's still not as good as Snake, but Canute has definitely become very good looking. But he's also going, why is he going to see his brother? What's happening there? That's interesting. That hairstyle suits him a lot more.
クヌート陛下、このようなところで。
久しぶりの故郷だ。風に当たりたい。
And see his people.
ハラルド陛下のご体調、
Oh.
ございません。この一月はさらに病が進み、今はすでにお話
Oh, is that
も
why
ままならぬ
he's
様
here?
子でございます。
Is he gonna try and take his brother's kingdom too?
手当てのものの申しますには、この数日が峠と。
Ooh.
わかった。
Is he here because he cares about his brother and he wants to see him? Or is he here because he wants to take him out and take over? Because it's very bizarre that he's here in the critical days of his brother's illness.
たまに世と遊んでくださった。
Oh.
よし。
Before they were forced to be on opposing sides.
城中の者らは次期王位をめぐって世と兄王陛下の間で反目し合ってい
But
た
they
が
were just kids. They were just
陛下ご自身は
brothers.
そんなことには頓着なさらなかった。
Like, they go on about Canute being beautiful, but like his brother is beautiful too.
ラグナル。
Let him pick himself up.
おお。
He knew that he would. He's like, give him a
あいつ
chance.
はお前が思ってるよりたくましいよ。だいたい、お前も少し過保護だぞ。もう少し
お見事です。
He's like, you're not listening to what I'm saying.
こんなに来てるから動きづらいんだよ。
He's like patted him so much that he can't hurt
ありま
himself.
せん。戦士たる者、備えを怠ってはなりません。聞いておられますか、殿下。
No, he's looking at his big brother.
強く優しいお方だった。
Oh. They were just kids being used by everyone's political games. They never wanted it. Oh, fuck. Did not expect that. How do you confront your brother and speak to him? Confront's the wrong word. How do you face your brother when you're the reason their father is dead? I don't think either of them really loved him that much, but still. It's obviously something he's never quite got over, even though he knew his father would have killed him with no questions asked.
クヌートのイングランド征服に際し、兄ハラルドは大艦隊を貸与するなど、
Oh, so he was still
積極的に彼を支援していた。
backing his brother. He still had his
しかし、
corner.
クヌートのイングランド王即位後間もなく、ハラルドは病に倒れる。
So he's here to be made heir by his brother.
カヌート兄様。ああ、本当にイヤリングにいらしてたのね。
陛下と呼びなさい、エストリズ。
That's your sister.
驚いちゃった。
Don't be weird. Oh, God. He looks on death's door.
ハラルド兄様、クヌート兄様がお見舞いに来てくださったのよ。
しばらく滞在する。お話は陛下のお加減の良い時を選ぼう。
He hears his voice. He hasn't been able to speak, but he can say Canute's name. Like, I'm here.
ゆるりとお休みくださいませ。王国のことは何も心配はございません。
そなたを待っていた。そなたにデンマークを。
He knows he's dying. He knew that was gonna happen.
熱そうなことを申されますな。
Why is he smirking?
早くお元気になって、また玉打ち遊びにでも興じましょうぞ。
大したものだが、クヌート。
Boy seeing
よ
his
くも
dad.
そ知らぬ顔でそんな嘘がつけるものだ。
I was wondering, is this literally him being involved in his brother's worsening condition? That he has almost betrayed and backstabbed his brother that's supported him and never seen the political divide, that has always had his corner because that's his baby brother and he loves his baby brother, only for Canute to be like, yeah, fuck that, I want Denmark. Canute is becoming the person that he always swore he would never be. But if that is the case, he is becoming everything he abhorred and hated, and Ragnar would be ashamed. But it just goes to show how power corrupts. He's not the same man that he used to be, which is just so unfortunate that he would potentially take out his own brother. Oh, yikes. And then now he's seeing his father, who's basically his own conscience talking back to him. It's the weight of his conscience pressing down on him. And his father's like, how can you sit there and lie to him? And it was that little smile. I was like, why are you smiling? If your brother's dying, why would you smile? It's because he knew this was going to happen. He suspected that he was going to be made the heir to Denmark because his brother doesn't have any children. It's crafty. It's crafty. Are we going to see an entirely new side to Canute? Because obviously this is only the second time we've seen him. But we got a hint that he was a lot more Machiavellian. He was willing to do whatever it takes to secure his power and his position, which was a stark contrast to the idealistic Canute in series 1 that wanted to bring peace and love to everyone and wanted to build a paradise. This is a completely different Canute. This is somebody that has been tainted by war and bloodshed. It's going to be fascinating to see his character because obviously we're seeing Canute go one way and we're seeing Thorfinn go another. They're going on two completely diverging paths. It's fascinating to see that they've changed the dynamic. It would be interesting to see if Thorfinn ever meets Canute again. Maybe. Hopefully. I'd like to see them have a conversation because of so much time having gone by. And also, we still don't quite know how Thorfinn became a slave, other than the last we saw was him being pinned down by Canute. And I think Canute had to punish him because he tried to assassinate the now king. So I think it's connected to how Thorfinn became a slave. Definitely here for this reason. It's what he wants. But whether he has a hand in his brother's rapid decline, we don't know yet. But I think he might. It's kind of hinted at that he might.
自身が毒を持った相手を見舞うか。
Ah!
だ茶番だな。それでお前は一体何を成し遂げるというのだ。
Who is this man? Who is he?
なぜ殺す必要がある。
This is not the Canute from series 1.
できたはずだ。
But no, you wanted it all for yourself.
楽土のためなどではない。そなたの心には野心が宿っておる。
The weight of the crown that your father warned you about. And I mocked his father for it in series 1, being like, yeah, sure, but no, the burden of the crown.
それが呪いだ。王冠の呪い
It
な
all
の
comes
だ。
full circle.
逃れられはせぬ。
Not even Canute.
そなたはデンマークとイングランド二つの王冠をかぶり世の倍苦しむことになろう。
That beauty will fade. You'll also become old and decrepit. Because his father said, I used to look like you. So his father at one stage looked like Canute, but look at what you've done. Look at the pain you've caused your brother. And he did nothing but love you.
大事ない。軽いめまいだ。
But this is also why he's staying for a while, is because he expects to inherit the throne. Because he expects his brother to die in that time.
なんだ。
エストリズ様の追いつけでお飲み物をお持ちしました。
Ha! What if his sister starts
それは
poisoning
どこ
him?
のものか。
は？どこと申しますと。
What if his sister's like, fuck you?
いらぬ。喉は渇いていない。
Yeah, he's suspicious. He's like,
毒を恐れるな。
I don't want to be poisoned.
自身が毒を用いるからよ。
It's such a sneaky way of killing people too.
独り言
いつまでそこにいる用はない去れ
I thought she was maybe gonna hear something that she
楽土
shouldn't.
建設は国家の統一が前提です王が二人いてはいずれ災いの元と
But when is enough enough? That's the problem. It's never going to be enough. There's always going to be an excuse. There's always going to be another power grab.
スベンをかつて私はあなたを
But now he
憎み
sees how alike they actually were.
私が腹を割って話せるのはあなただけだ
It's weird that like he's actually speaking aloud.
仲良しましょうぞ呪われた者同士
He's fully embracing that side of him.
兄上もう一回
That's so sad.
よし
Harold did nothing but love his brother. Didn't allow the power dynamics to split them.
軍議だそなたも来い
And yet Canute
Hi,
could do that to him.
すまんクヌート続きはまただ
ありがとう兄上
強くなるんだ
Oh,
クヌート俺や父上よりもだいいな
はい
it's so jarring seeing this sweet, innocent young boy grow up into a monster where he'd poison his own brother. And yet Harold would never do that to Canute
さあ殿下次は私
because he
が
loved
相手です
him.
ぞ
Ragnar would be ashamed. He really
そ
would.
れは心外な
こんなものかどうということはない
God, you've hardened. I don't even recognize who you are anymore. It's so jarring because he's just not who we recognize. He's just become this jaded, cursed king. I love that we see him constantly framed in darkness as well, which is how we saw Thorfinn pretty much for most of series 2, is shrouded in darkness because it's emphasizing this path that they're walking. Whereas we see Thorfinn more surrounded by light because he's entered an enlightened path now. Whereas Canute, every time we see him, it's getting darker and darker and darker, especially when he's reminiscing about this time with his brother when they played games together. It's shrouded in this soft, romanticized light, emphasizing that childhood innocence and naivety when times were good, when him and his brother were connected and strong and they loved one another and power and politics didn't divide them, to now where he is sat in this darkened room speaking to the severed head of his father with no guilt, no shame for what it is that he's doing to Harold, that he's willing to sever that brotherly bond, that connection, because it's for this idea of utopia. But when is enough enough is the question. There's always going to be an excuse for another paragraph. There's always going to be a justification. Like, if we just take one more kingdom, we'll be closer to paradise. If we just take one more throne, we'll be closer to paradise. If we just invade here, we'll be closer to paradise. It's non-stop. That greed and aspiration is what his father warned him about. Like, are you sure you want this crown? Because this is what comes with it. Whereas Harold seems unaffected by that, just as he was unaffected by the political division where they were vying for who would inherit Sven's throne. He didn't buy into it. He didn't treat his brother any differently. He didn't look at him with scorn. He even told him to grow up to be stronger than him and his father. So he truly adored his brother and loved him and wanted him to be a better man. And this is the man he's become. I think Ragnar would be horrified. Horrified. But he very much has become like Askeladd, but Askeladd wouldn't poison people, I don't think. I think poison's quite a... I'm trying to think of the right way to phrase it. I have always thought that poison is a very weak way of killing someone solely because you're not taking responsibility for your actions. It's like a coward's way of killing. I know why he's doing it through poison, and it is because he doesn't want the war, he doesn't want the conflict, he doesn't want the bloodshed. He wants to do it discreetly. But I still have always thought that it's a coward way of actually killing someone because you're not taking responsibility or owning your actions. It's a very offhand way of taking someone's life because it's not at your own hands per se, because obviously it's through the food and drink they're consuming. You're not actually the one that has to do the act itself. You're getting someone else to feed them the food or provide the drink. So it's almost as if you can like wash your hands of it. It's a way of keeping himself unblemished, but we know he's not unblemished because he feels the guilt attached to it. Otherwise, he wouldn't see his father's head. He wouldn't be berating himself because this is all in his mind, obviously. So there is obviously guilt on his conscience, but not enough for him to stop, not enough for him to stop grasping for power. And that's the curse of the crown. It is corrupted who Canute is and who he was, and this was sort of foreshadowed by Ragnar's death because Ragnar would never have allowed him to become this person, but Askeladd would, because Askeladd taught him to be smart, to be crafty, to use his head, and in his mind he's using his head. I don't know if Askeladd would kind of agree with poisoning because, again, I think Askeladd would see that there's no honor in poisoning someone, and I think that's why like Thorkill was really sort of angry with Canute and didn't want to talk about him and is like kind of distanced himself. And it is because poisoning is not honorable. It's almost seen as a coward's way out. So I think that's why Thorkill was kind of like, they didn't get their war, they didn't get their battle, and how these two kings died was suspicious. And I think Asgard would have kind of been on that side as well. Like even when he plotted to have Sven executed, he did it himself and took the burden of responsibility. He sacrificed his own life to put Canute on the throne. He could have poisoned him, but he didn't because that's not honorable. So Canute's kind of gone down like a dishonorable path. He's gone down a dark path. He's paving it with blood and craftiness. And yeah, it's going to be very intriguing to see what he becomes, but very Machiavellian. And I think that's what they're trying to get at is Canute has lost this idealism and he's become someone that we almost don't recognize anymore. And that's sort of due to the fact that he lost Ragnar and Ragnar's influence, but also having to achieve the throne by any means in order to create his utopia. Whereas Harold was just happy to share power with his brother. He was just happy that his brother achieved what he wanted in England. He didn't see him as competition, whereas Canute sees him as competition, sees the issue of having two kings as a potential problem, that one day his brother could come for him. So instead of seeing if that ever becomes a reality, he gets rid of him now and then he rules. But there's numerous kings, so is he just going to take out every single king and have that suddenly be justified? But we also have Kettle going to see Harold. And what if he gets there and Harold's dead and it's Canute, and Canute maybe doesn't let him go? Then they're kind of not free. They're still stuck there because part of the condition of them being free was upon his return. Oh, what if he learns about Thorfinn through Kettle? Though I don't know why that would come up in conversation. That would be a bit strange. I'm not quite sure why it would be brought up, but either way, Kettle's going to see Harold. Harold's on his deathbed, probably going to die, and Canute is going to take the throne. Yikes. And we're going to maybe see Thorfinn go home, and I think he's going to take Einar, but I feel like he might take his family and bring them here, because there's not really anything for them. There's no fertile land. They always go on about going to Vinland, so maybe he brings his family here in the meantime to save up for going to Vinland, or he goes and gets them and they just go to Vinland. I don't know, but it's foreshadowing that he may go home, which I'll be really excited about. But I think him and Einar are going to be like stuck with one another now. I really want to know more about Arnheid and her backstory, so hopefully we do get that at some point. I think that's all I want to say for now. Thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this react, please consider liking, subscribing, and leaving a comment below to help boost this video into the algorithm. Until next episode, bye!